All right, everyone. We're gonna get started. Welcome to week 8 of the semester. 2 more weeks till spring break. Yay! All right, so we're gonna be going over the e-board positions, and then we're also gonna be doing team check-ins for the meeting. Let me make sure I'm recording. Yes, it's recording. All right. So so we're gonna do some quick announcements. First off, graduation stole orders. If you're graduating this semester, please fill out the stole form. We placed it in our meeting general chat. If you're a paid member, you get yours for free. Otherwise, it's going to be $25. And then you could contact me or Melvin about the payment information. Next up, we have a social, not this Friday, but next Friday. It's going to be sort of like a spring break kickoff, and we're also going to be announcing the election results at the social. It will be in Building 6, room 113 and 114. That's the same room that we've had the social in previous semesters. We'll also have we'll have like food, like pizza, and then some games and other stuff. Yeah. And now we're going to go into the e-board positions. So these are the positions that we have available. We have secretary, treasurer, and president and vice president. The reason why I grouped president and vice president together, because how we've traditionally done it is the runner-up will become the vice president. And then if you're interested in other positions like PR director, historian, or webmaster, those will be later in April. The newly elected board will get to decide who decides who the new officers are through interviews. And then as for the election itself, it will be on March 21st, so that's next week during U hour, like right now, same room and online through Discord. And then to be eligible for board, you have to be a VIP member for the club. You could talk to, again, me or Melvin about the membership fee. We also have a GPA requirement. You need at least a 2.0 GPA for secretary or treasurer, and if you want to run for president and vice president, you need at least a 3.0 GPA. And now we're going to go into sort of like the benefits of being board. First of all, leadership roles like greatly boost resumes. It looks really good, even if it's even like secretary, treasurer. It shows that you're not only active in a club or participating in their projects, but you're deciding like where you want the club to go forward. It's also a great networking opportunity. Like I've talked to a bunch of like recruiters and different people over the summer to try and get like guest speakers and stuff to you guys. So it's sort of getting to network with them, and they sort of get to know your name, especially if you apply to their places, and then you get to, they might recognize you or stuff like that. And this one we haven't done a lot this year, but some eBoard specific socials. We did one at round 1 before the school year started, and then we're looking to do one again this spring. But yeah, we'll see on that. And then you get to also help teach people about game development. That's also a very fun thing to do. Board members also get a free customized stole on graduating. This is an example for a stole that I'll be doing, that I'll get. So it's like shows your positions that you have and then like the year that you had them. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go through the position descriptions, and then I'll give like a general overview for what's expected of each board member, and then I'll have my board members talk about their time in the position. So general board responsibilities, planning and attending board and officer meetings. These are just meetings that you have separate from the general meetings where you get to plan like the week by week sort of schedule. And then you also get to plan the overall semester schedule. So you kind of want to set goals as to like what you want to do for the semester and then sort of map out. You don't need to get every single detail exactly. I know like for us, like we were initially going to have like 2 socials in October, but then like the Valorant guest speaker came in like last second. So things sort of shift around. You'll also be hosting meetings and workshops similar to what we've been doing. And then you also get to promote the club to recruit new members. This one's really important. I'm sure a lot of you are new to the club this semester, or this year in general. And then you also get to attend different school events, such as the club fair, the science carnival, which is on Thursday. And then you get to decide and choose the new officer positions, which ones are needed, and then you get to recruit the officers.
Hi, I'm the current secretary, so some of my responsibilities are scheduling club meetings and events. So like this room, the club room, and then like our banquet room is all stuff that I was responsible scheduling and booking. I also, if you're a secretary, you'll keep documentation of club activities and member involvement. So like the sign-in sheets and stuff like that is stuff that I make sure is all in order, and minutes too. Make sure we have all that. Also sending out weekly announcements in the upcoming weeks and events. I don't know if you guys get them or look at them, but I send out the newsletters every week. So that's kind of what the secretary responsibilities are if you apply.
I'm the current treasurer for the club, and the treasurer is the person that handles all the club's like financial responsibilities. You'd be expected to do things like pay the club bills or keep track of the club spendings or the budget, or like collect the VIP, any kind of payment that the club received, and then deposit it into the club's account. I'd say like the main two things that you'd be expected to do in this position are disbursement requests and also submitting the club budget. Disbursement requests are pretty much, it's like a form you fill out to pay one of your fellow board members back for spending their own personal money like on behalf of the club. It's like it's how you actually spend the club's budget. So I actually just did 5 of those all last night. So there's that. So yeah, and you'll also be expected to submit the budget to Science Council and plan out how the club's going to allocate their budget and spend things over the course of the next school year.
All right, hello guys, my name is Janista. I'm one of the vice presidents for this year.
I'm Enzo, I'm the second vice president, and last year I was also the treasurer for the club.
All right, so generally what the vice president does is that we oversee both board and officer activities, just like the president does. You have to stay up to date on what the club does, what our plans are, because you need to be able to step in for the president if you need to. And of course, you just help out with the general presidential duties. Some examples of things you might do are helping plan the end of semester banquet, reaching out to potential guest speakers, as well as designing club stalls, among many other things.
Yeah, and our duties are more flexible because as a VP, we're meant to help the president out and the rest of the board out with tasks that they don't have time for, or like we're too busy so that one person can do it. So you can't run directly for the position, except what happens is the runner-up of the president will become the vice president. And just as like a personal side, as someone that's been both a VP and then part of like the rest of the regular board, I think that it's a really good opportunity for you guys, especially if you are even a little bit interested, even more so than just managing a club and having it show up on your resume. There's a lot of other fun things too. Like you meet so many people that like I would have never met so many people if I wasn't like in the board position. Especially for a big club like this, I think if you really want to make the most of your college time and you're interested, it would be a great opportunity to do so.
I'll also add, I feel that in this position, since your duties are more flexible, you need a little bit of more initiative. So for example, I was the PR director last year, and obviously all like social media related things would automatically go to me because I'm PR director. But as vice president, since you just help out the president, you don't have tasks that automatically go to you. And so you need some initiative to just be like, oh, okay, I'm going to start help planning out the banquet and what we need to buy. I'm going to start designing the stove so that we can send out the pre-order form soon. So you need to just kind of take the initiative yourself and just start picking up some tasks. Of course, you don't have to run things that way. Maybe you could just agree like, oh, all these like external tasks, like reaching out to guest speakers will just go to me. But it's kind of just up to how you guys decide to run things next year.
And the best part about this upcoming election is that since most of us are graduating, it's going to be you guys deciding how everything runs. So if you want to do it differently from how we did it, feel free to do so. So it's your chance to leave a mark on the club.
And last of all, President. So the president's responsible for the overall management of the club and the club activities. You sort of set the goal for what you want to do for the club in the semester. And the most important thing, I think, is delegating tasks and sort of facilitating the teamwork to make sure everything for the club is met and on time. Yeah, so a lot of it is just sort of like getting to know the strengths and weaknesses of your board and then seeing like where you could assign them to do certain things. Like I know for me at the beginning of last semester, I know I wasn't like particularly great at Godot, so I went to some of my board and officer members who are a lot more who programmed a lot more in Godot, and then have them do any Godot-related workshops or art-related workshops. Also, I think like sort of structuring the club around our club mission. You may have heard me say it a few times during the club fair, but our goal in the end is to help teach people about game development and the game development industry. I think the number one priority there is what makes our club unique is the game pitches, which is what we've been doing. And then it's also about taking sort of like feedback and then sort of seeing how you could improve it. That could be like a week by week thing, or it could be like what we did last semester with the end of the semester surveys, and then seeing how you could improve your next semester with those things. And then just some stuff that I've done. I've ran the general club and officer meetings. I've reached out to potential guest speakers and stuff like that, and I coordinated events with other clubs and organizations. And then you're also responsible for registering the club for the upcoming year. And if you're like a first year who's thinking like maybe you could run for president in like 2 years' time, we highly recommend that you either run for secretary or treasurer the year before. That way you can like going into your second year. That way it would be a good way to see how the club runs behind the scenes. So when you're president, you're all prepared to see how the club runs then. So there's going to be a speech and a presentation during next week's election meeting. That will be, again, on Tuesday, March 21st. It will be in person in this room, and I'll include Discord. Candidates are highly recommended to attend the election in person. If they're unable to, they must have their cameras turned on during their speech. Yeah. And then we also highly recommend that candidates come in semi-formal attire. So that's like sort of like business casual.
Yeah, like come in like pants or a dress shirt or like a nice blouse or something like that.
Yeah, and then for the speeches, candidates will give around a 3 to 8 minute speech about their candidacy. You can run for more than one executive board position, and your speech will count for all of the positions that you applied for. Just also, if you're one of the first ones applying or going up to speak, please be mindful for the time for other candidates. You don't want to filibuster and just take up all the time. You're also allowed to prepare flashcards, and we highly recommend slides for your speech. And then you could, I don't think on the form we have like a place to place your slides. You could just DM them to me.
Yeah.
And
If you want an example, the video of last year's election is on for YouTube. So
Yeah.
if you want to look at what we did.
So I know we just gave a bunch of information. This is sort of the roadmap for the upcoming stuff. So the application is open now. We have it in our announcements channel. We also have it in the meeting general channel. We recommend you apply as soon as possible. The e-board elections, the application will close on Sunday at 11:59. So that gives you almost like the entire week to sort of decide if you want to do it. On March 21st, you'll have the e-board election and its speeches. And then from the 21st to the 24th, so that's Tuesday to Friday next week, that will be the voting period. And then on the 24th, we'll be announcing the winners for the new board, and we'll also be having our spring social. If you're interested, we have the forms here. I sent them again in announcements and the meeting general chat. And then if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. We will be gladly answer any of your questions. Just let us know. Yeah. Are there any current questions right now? All right, cool. And then now we're gonna go with the game pitches. Thank you, board. You guys can sit down. All right, so first up, we're gonna go to Neon Navigators.
I guess, yeah. Okay. Let's see, I'm tired. Okay. So there's our team progress. We don't have many assets to show, but I would like to describe some of the processes that we're going through in our getting the game up and running. So first, there's 2 dev teams running right now. Our team is comprised largely of programmers, and a lot of them are inexperienced with Unity, such as myself. So it's hard with having the 2 different approaches within the game. We could spread the efforts out and get people more experienced with Unity. So we're exploring 2 efforts. There's the Iceman and straight shooter method. And in short form, Iceman is for a fast-paced movement where you're going from point A to point B quickly, while straight shooters is puzzle approaches where you stop, study the setting, and then find out how you can get from point A to point B.
So for our art direction, we've just been kind of just getting some inspiration from like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, and we'll be inputting these concepts through Blender, and hopefully these images we have here are just kind of like a general vibe. So we're trying to decide whether or not we want like a more lively type of cyberpunk, kind of like Hong Kong kind of theme, or like a more industrial cyberpunk theme, like in Tron. And as you can see, we also have a potential character concept that we ran through Stable Diffusion. This is the only viable image we were able to generate through Stable Diffusion because it kept being horny. But and currently we're debating. We're probably gonna have like a more flat background of like a city vibe, as well as just having our character model be in like more the foreground of the platforms. And for the music and sound, we don't really have any music yet, but we're debating probably having like a basic synth soundtrack with like a pacing that could hopefully like match the pacing of the actual gameplay, and kind of as well as have like sound effects for like the motion as well as the different like lasers and abilities that the player uses.
Well, there was a music track, but it's not working right now. I just show you a short clip of something we have in development. This is the Iceman approach. It's very rough and janky, but it somewhat works. So you build out a path, and then you can traverse, and then essentially just jump off the path, and then you can go back. And it's essentially building out a path directly in front of the player, and then they can manipulate how they're traversing through the area for that. That's it.
All right, cool. Thank you. All right. Next up, do we have a representative from Work in Progress Horror Game? All right. If not, that is fine. Next up, Planetary Pursuits. Is Lou here? All right. So basically, they told me like if Lou wasn't here. They set up their goals for the team and what they want to do for the semester. They're going to be improving one of the current routes, and then they're going to add a second date to Pluto. And then they also have a new logo. All right, next up, Impact Miner.
All right. Josh here, representative of Star Harvest Interplanetary Drilling Incorporated. Welcome to our first investor meeting. Our boys down in R&D have finally come up with something better than the Pog Pods, which is a relief. We have the Fusion Actuated Reactive Driller. This thing can cut through sheer rock like butter. Certainly makes our miners' jobs a lot easier, which, as you can see, here's one of them right now. Look at that excited smile. Now that's one dude who's excited to be running down our test track. Yep, that's right, I said test track. Due to some unforeseen losses on the planet's surface, management has commissioned a test track to help better train our miners before we send them on their maiden voyage. This test track is procedurally generated, completely random. Keep those miners on their toes. Yep, you can say it, that's pretty cool. Here's one of our miners traversing down the test track. We have a video of him doing so. As you can see, he's drifting left and right. He smashes into the crystals. He goes faster. All right, that's enough of him. And then before we leave, we have an audio motivational cue that we've developed here. It's kind of hard to hear. Can I turn this up? Yeah, you can turn it up. So hopefully that'll motivate our miners to mine faster, better, and stronger. That'll be it for now. We hope to hear from you soon, and your banks.
All right, next up we have Cluster Magic, and I think you're on the Discord call.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
In our channel, like I have stuff.
All right.
Okay, yeah, so we have like a finished walk animation for the character model, and we have a crystal model, and our multiplayer works, so we just have to like put that into the main branch, and then we could start like working on like the actual like gameplay things, I guess. So yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. All right, next up, we have No Leg Up. And then I think Walton's also online. Yep.
Hi, yeah, I'm online. Well, we have a concept art for like the player character. It just started on like music. You can play that if you're playing things. I don't want to take them all the time, so you can. We also have like a demo for like the player controlling, where you like change the gravity. Yeah, so that's basically it.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. All right, next up we have Rats King. You can use the mouse here.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
This one? Oh, well, here's a video of the title screen. It's got a nice music that's been made by the music team, but we have an updated version at the end of the presentation there, and it cuts to the level. This one right here kind of shows off some of the game mechanics we have. I shared my entire screen because I'm bad with OBS, but it has a little dash mechanic. The enemy follows you. If you attack the enemy, it'll die. We have sound effect for when you attack the enemy, destructible environment, and we have a ranged attack. And the bar goes down in the UI as well when you use it. We also have a working health system. We just got to add so that enemies can actually damage you. And then for some of our sound effects, this is a different scene that has all the different sound effects that we have. So there's a footstep sound. Right now it's just Mr. Krabs walking, made by Plutz here. And then it's going to be updated though eventually once we have more sound effects. We also have sounds for when you hit the wall as well. Then I just kind of want to show off some of the concept art that's been going into the game. This was used on the left was for our main character. On the right was our first enemy. Here's some other like kind of sketched out drawings, different concepts we have, like some different NPCs that will be in the game. We also have, I accidentally repeated some. Here's some more like a little coffee shop scene of our first enemy. Add some lighthearted nature to it. And then here's some of our more like actual pixelated assets that we're going to be in the game for some NPCs, an enemy on the right, and our main character on the left. There's no animations yet, but we also have some concepts for the first few areas of our level. So this will be like the first room. It's like the friendly NPCs room. And here's like a little tile set that we've made for the level. I want to show off the title art again because it's really pretty. And we have, here's some different assets that have been made as well. And this was some of our concept art for our main character. And here's the first track that we have for the title screen. And this just plays when the title screen's active. We'll also have soundtracks for like the like an action kind of like fast-paced song, and nice like exploration music as well. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much of the time.
All right, thank you very much. All right, next up we have Team 8, Lawless.
We basically just got all the 3 basic skills down, and we're also looking into the Dialogic plugin for Godot right now to for the dialogue for the game. That's pretty much it for now.
And then next up we have Team 9, Hollow Knot.
Just basics. You can move, you can attack. Yeah.
Nice. And then last but not least, pancakes and love letters.
I didn't expect that to be so fast and so true. If anyone else from the team wants to come up, you can. Okay. Sorry, I had a big bite. So, for some conceptual stuff, our first thing we did is we split the team into 4 groups. And that's the programming team, the writing team, the art team, and the music team. And then within the programming team, we split it up into 2 teams. Basically, the minigame team for the cooking minigame, and then the overall team for all the delivery stuff. So those are the 2 main gameplay loops that we decided to set in stone. And then, so we've been working on those. And then the art team has been working on a lot of concepts and modeling. And the writing team has been coming up with the backstory. So the backstory is pretty similar to like Stardew Valley, like a grandma passes away and she leaves you this kitchen and she leaves a recipe for pancakes, and then eventually you start serving pancakes based on the love letters. So here are some examples of different concept art that was created by our art team. These are some of the NPCs and some of the different pancakes that you'd be using. This waffle guy is like the rival of the main character because we like pancakes, not waffle. And then here's some more NPCs. So these would be like the characters you deliver to. And we have some concept art for the actual kitchen bakery itself. Yeah, so it's really cool concept from Caitlin.
It's up to regulation standards.
Yeah. And then we have some music. So the music for our game is less electronic, more like traditional instruments. Thankfully we have like a lot of classically trained musicians on our team. Yeah, okay. Writing, you don't need to see what we're writing about. Hey, I said you don't need to see. And then, yeah, that's animation of our main character.
Oh.
Yeah, and then this is what we've done for programming. Hopefully it's worth. Oh, it's private. I forgot to make it unlisted.
It's all good.
Basically, we have the player controller. We have a third-person camera that follows the player, and then you can move around in the 3D environment. If you scroll down, that's what the main character looks like right now. But we'll change it. And these are like the finished renders for, that's the main character, and then this is the strawberry NPC. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with our progress so far. And since we have a big team, I thought it was a great chance to like let them have the time to conceptualize a bit. So it turned out really good. Thank you.
All right, before we close off the meeting, in meeting general and then also in our announcements, we have all the links. Please click the sign-in sheet that helps us with our numbers and our budget and stuff like that. If you're graduating, Skulls is right there, and the eBoard application and the more information on the actual eBoard positions. If you click on here, gives a more detailed list of responsibilities and stuff like that. And then feel free to ask any of us any questions about anything related to the election. Thank you very much, and you are all free to go.